Outlook. Full Council Public Question Responses. From Graham Shaw gs-society@outlook.com. GS Society. Date: Friday the 11th of July, 2025, 10 p.m. 2. Steve.Nichols@wire.gov.uk. 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 2 attachments, 3 megabytes. The 25th of May, 25 Senior Advisor, Land and Contamination Management Team.pdf, Legacy Contamination Inspection June 2025.pdf. Dear Mr. Mayor, please could you confirm who I should make a complaint to at the Wyre Borough Council with regard to the lodged public questions on notice that were given approval to ask questions submitted? There is clearly a delay in firstly publishing the minutes of the full council meeting and also the delay in processing the audio YouTube recording that was made available some 3 working days after the meeting, but unfortunately not updated to the web portal. I find it very disrespectful to the electorate and the residents that submitted the questions that have not been replied to, especially by Councillor Bowen's statement that the written response will be supplied. However, not received to date. As consideration, there was Councillor Sir Robert Atkins' questions that had been published in the agenda report on the same date as public questions and received a greatly expanded reply by Councillor Berry. That obviously the Council considered to be more important than the health issues and complaints not only regarding trans waste issues but also the contamination investigations of AGCCE. This situation is not ideal, and it is clearly a majority party attempt by asking questions that are not really as important that could be dealt with at committee level. Great sound bite. Was it really necessary to carry on the contamination investigations? I find the leader's statement out of context, when I personally have communicated with the multi-agency team and Wyre environment officers and found the statement incorrect, that if he had actually had a conversation with staff they would have given him the updated EA reports and what is being set in place for Phase 3 tests and what the agency partners are actually doing that I have had for over 2 weeks. Attached. That would have made the leader's speech more credible. To continue, I trust that the planned drop in session planned for Thornton Cleveleys Football Club. Date: Wednesday the 23rd of July. Time: 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. is going to be manned by senior councillors, who will be approachable to obtain answers. In addition to residents, I have confirmation of attendance from the BBC production team that produced the Toxic Town, Corby documentary. So they are getting involved at an early stage, collate information they are interested in, so as you will no doubt know, they have gained a great deal of experience on fact-finding contamination issues for their published documentaries regarding contamination and historical pollution, and with the research they have already done should turn into a very interesting session, having been doing covert preliminary investigations and interviews with residents and ex-employees of ICI to gain a powerful evidence base in the area over the past few weeks. The investigative team have been combing through the Toxic Docs website that my investigation team found, and I gave to the Environment Officer MSc Mason and the Environment Agency managers being Mr. John Neville Graham Miller and the CEO Philip Duffy, who totally ignore evidence of collusion and possible corruption with all parties named in the thousands of documents filed as evidence. With statements like, if means it will come to this, can we just alter the report to read and keep it out of the public domain, which leaves a lot for explanation of meanings within reports. For clarity, I would like to inform the Council of its duties as stated in the authority's constitution. 1. WIRE Council Actions, YouTube. I provide this communication without prejudice and without any meaning of vexatious actions, only wishing to indicate the records are followed to council policy and procedures. I look forward to all your responses. Regards. Graham Shaw, Northwest Regional Audit Coordinator at My Society. Graham Shaw, Shoggy's Post. Save Bourne Hill. Graham Shaw Shoghi Estadayat 17:04 shared with public group. So Wire Borough Council don't believe in freedom of speech and have banned me from their social page, social being the active word, unless they don't enjoy the truth. Pamela Abbott, Mares Maria, and 11 others. 13 comments. Like. Comment. Copy. Share. Most relevant. Tom Adams Sr. Methinks you must have them rattled, keep up the good work. 1H. Like. Reply. Share. Karen Cottrell. I think he's just looking for some truth, like we all are. Why can't questions be answered? 1D. Like. Reply. Share. 2. Graham Shaw Shoghi. Thanks Karen, I will not be deterred from getting satisfaction for the electorate. 1D. Like. Reply. Share. 5. Karen Cottrell. Graham Shaw Shoghi good, and thanks for what you're doing. 1D. Like. Reply. Share. Thomas Wires Roebuck. You have my support and thanks for all that you do. Most would have given up. 1D. Like. Reply. Share. 3. Lorraine Parr. Running scared and they have taken this course to try and silence you from telling the truth, asking questions we want answers to. In my opinion they are taking the coward's way out. Whatever next. 1D. Like. Reply. Share. James Andrew. Keep chipping away. They don't like it up M. 1D. Like. Reply. Share. 2. Graham Shaw Shoghi. Just hit the pillow and began to chill out when I realized what my ban related to. It was on behalf of a resident of Poulton less than 200 yards from the council office that received a ASB warning letter and still has no apology as promised because they decided to send her a letter when if they got off their arses and went to investigate they would have found the noise breach of a generator running 24 hours a day was because of an underground fault on Breck Road. Instead they threatened her with a £5,000 fine when she had no electric for 4 days caused by the council-owned YMCA car park floodlights until the contractors set up a temporary supply via a generator. Tomorrow's mission is sorted now. 22H. Like. Reply. Share. Edited. 2. Linda Broadbent Hudson. Keep being a thorn in the side of Wire Council. You must be over the target, as the saying goes. 11H. Like. Reply. Share. Graham Shaw Shoghi. Basically it's because I show the officers where they think they can do what they want without any input from councillors. However, that is not the situation when we the people give them our democratic vote. Impossible situation that stinks of corruption. Read Save Bourne Hill files page that are open to the public. But we have a lot more sat there waiting in the private page. 1D. Like. Reply. Share. Graham Shaw Shoghi. This sudden change seems likely due to the council being more heavily scrutinised. Some of the reasons they provide for the change are to do with libel, defamatory or offensive content. On Wednesday, July 9, 2025, Graham Shaw GS-Society at Outlook.com wrote, "What chance do we stand as stated officers are untouchable?" From Councillor Bell Shaw, Mary.Bellshaw at wire.gov.uk. Sent, the 9th of July, 2025, 10:42. To Graham Shaw GS-Society at Outlook.com. Subject, Forward Planning Application Documents 25000581 FUL. I inquired what happened and here's the response. As you know, we're not in the ruling party, therefore have very little, if any, say regarding changes to policy. I hope this answers your question. From Smith, Steve.Smith at wire.gov.uk. Sent, Wednesday, July 9th, 2025, 9:29. To Councillor Bell Shaw, Mary.Bellshaw at wire.gov.uk. Subject, Planning Application Documents 25000581 FUL. Hi Mary. We changed our process on the 1st of July. See here. https://www.wire.gov.uk/comment-planning-application/2. How to comment on a planning application, Wire Council. No public comments will now show on the website. The case officers still see them in full but not the wider public. This complies with all regulations and is very common practice amongst councils. Steve Smith. Wire.gov.uk. How to comment on a planning application, Wire Council. 1H. Like. Reply. Share. Remove preview. Graham Shaw Shoghi. 1. The 7 Principles of Public Life. The 7 Principles of Public Life, also known as the Nolan Principles, apply to anyone who works as a public office holder. This includes all those who are elected or appointed to public office, nationally and locally, and all people appointed to work in the civil service, local government, the police, courts and probation services, non-departmental public bodies, NDPBs, and in the health, education, social and care services. All public office holders are both servants of the public and stewards of public resources. The principles also apply to all those in other sectors delivering public services. 1.1 Selflessness. Holders of public office should act solely in terms of the public interest. 1.2 Integrity. Holders of public office must avoid placing themselves under any obligation to people or organizations that might try inappropriately to influence them in their work. They should not act or take decisions in order to gain financial or other material benefits for themselves, their family, or their friends. They must declare and resolve any interests and relationships. 1.3 Objectivity. Holders of public office must act and take decisions impartially, fairly, and on merit, using the best evidence and without discrimination or bias. 1.4 Accountability. Holders of public office are accountable to the public for their decisions and actions and must submit themselves to the scrutiny necessary to ensure this. 1.5 Openness. Holders of public office should act and take decisions in an open and transparent manner. Information should not be withheld from the public unless there are clear and lawful reasons for so doing. 1.6 Honesty. Holders of public office should be truthful. 1.7 Leadership. Holders of public office should exhibit these principles in their own behavior and treat others with respect. They should actively promote and robustly support the principles and challenge poor behavior wherever it occurs. 1H. Like. Reply. Share. Lynn E. Gray. Oh dear, it's a shame, never mind. Get another faceache page.